Chair recognizes Representative Hitchens for an invite resolution. Representative Hitchens.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members of the General Assembly. Today certainly is a significant day for me and almost an emotional one. But before I get started, Mr. Chavers has brought a large group with him, and I would like to recognize all those people who protect us in our homes, us and our families in our homes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from the Fraternal Order of Police. They represent cities, counties, state, and federal law enforcement officers. If you would please stand. And up here on the podium with me, I have two other distinguished representatives of the Fraternal Order of Police. The state president, Captain Carlton Stallings, who's a retired captain with the State Patrol. And a neighbor from across the river from South Carolina, who's the national president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Mr. Chuck Canterbury. But as you can see from the sign, the invite resolution today is about another member of the FOP. He's a long-time member. He's spent all of his adult life in the Fraternal Order of Police as a U.S. Customs Inspector in Savannah. But before he became a U.S. Customs Inspector, he belonged to an organization that I belong to. And the older I get, the prouder I am of some of the accomplishments that the United States Marine Corps has made. I served 13 months in Vietnam, and the older I get, the more proud I am of it. Many of you know that I've held a couple of responsible positions, but I think the proudest thing that I've ever been has been the United States Marine. We have three other members of the House here who are former Marines, and I'd like to introduce them. Chairman Willard, Representative Attaway, and Chairman Meadows. I don't see him here, but he's also a former Marine. But Jim Chavers, and I think we had some divine intervention here today, was a member of the 4th Marine Division. 69 years ago this morning at 9 a.m., 40,000 Marines aboard probably the greatest naval armada the United States has ever put together were offshore of a little sulfur island that nobody had ever heard of before. And it was protected by between 21 and 22,000 Japanese who'd been digging tunnels and fortifications for over a year. Mr. Chavers went in that first day. They moved in a couple hundred yards. They fought for every inch. They were assaulted by mortars, artillery, machine guns, and they received numerous casualties. 5 days into the battle, as many of us know, Mr. Chavers witnessed one of the iconic moments in U.S. Marine Corps and even U.S. history. And he was there and saw the flag raised over Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima. This was probably one of the most horrendous battles in the Pacific in World War II. There were 26 Medals of Honor awarded to Marines and Navy corpsmen, 14 of whom died. 3 of the 6 members that raised the flag over Mount Suribachi were killed before they left the island. Mr. Chavers has brought home several war trophies. In one instance, a Japanese soldier threw a grenade and killed one of the members of his squad. He later searched him and took a Japanese flag off of it. He showed the flags around Savannah several times. He has 2 Japanese flags and a Japanese Army uniform, which in recent times, due to his age, he's donated to the World War II Museum in New Orleans. I hear a lot of talk around these halls about patriotism and patriots, and I certainly am not the determiner of who's a patriot and who has patriotism, but I can say this without any fear of being inaccurate. Jim Chavers is an American hero, and I'm proud to call him a friend, and I'm proud to bring him here before the legislature, and I hope you'll give him a round of applause and appreciate what he's done for our nation.
Well, 69 years ago, I didn't know this was going to happen today. But I was proud to serve in the Marine Corps. The 4th Division was one of the best divisions we had. And I was just proud to serve my country. That was the main thing. I survived the Battle of Iwo. We landed on the 19th of February, and I left there on March the 17th. And the reason I can remember that date is March the 17th was St. Patrick's Day back in Savannah. They were wearing green there, but I was wearing khaki and dungarees over there. But I remember very well, I was blessed to survive the battle without getting wounded. I went through the whole battle, February the 19th. We left the island on March the 17th, like I just said. And my squad was fortunate. Some squads had more casualties. We had one man killed, Robert Langner from New Jersey. We had 3 men wounded. I was one of the 4 that survived without getting wounded. They asked me how I did that, and I said I was a fast runner. But it's an honor to appear before everyone here. I don't think I've ever been honored this much in my life, and I do appreciate it. If anybody... I came home from World War II, and I'd been writing to a girl from South Carolina named June Norton. She wrote to me on February the 5th, 1945, and I got her letter when I landed on Iwo Jima on February the 19th. Well, I wrote to her from February the 19th to May 46th when I actually came home and met her. And in October 46, we were married. We were married for 64 years. Sadly, she passed away 3 years ago on December the 5th. I miss her every day. I don't know what you'll want me to tell you about the Battle of Iwo, except that it was actually 23,000 Japs on the island. They only captured 200 prisoners. They wouldn't surrender. Of the Americans, we had 3 divisions, roughly 65 to 75,000 divisions total in the 3 divisions. And of the total casualties on the American side, there were 7,000, roughly round figures, killed in 1 month and 21,000 wounded. Iwo was the most unusual place you'd ever been. It was volcanic ash. The island was 5.5 miles long and 2.5 miles across the widest point. And the Japanese soldiers had tunnels under that island. They could go anywhere on the island. They even had a hospital and all underground. Everything was underground. And they used to say that the Japanese wasn't on Iwo, they was in Iwo. And the thing about it is they saw you everywhere you went above ground, and they were firing on you, but you never saw them. Any questions you want me to answer?
I think we do, Jim.
Okay.
We sure appreciate it.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I need a tape recorder now.